All right, I want to talk about this manhwa real quick. So I've been ruminating on this one for a little while because I really don't know how I feel about this story. So this is a very short manhwa. It's called A World Ruled by Cats, and it's about 80 chapters long. And I don't know if a 10-minute video is going to cut it, but I'm going to try my best because I don't want to make a series on this. The story starts off with this young girl here, her name's Honora, trying to rescue a drowning cat. But in doing so, she sadly drowns herself. But she doesn't. She actually wakes up in a different world. A world ruled by cats. That was really cheesy, I'm sorry. No, but seriously. Humanoid cat world. So, alright. And in the humanoid cat world, humans, like full humans, are pets. So it's the total opposite of, you know, our world where we keep cats as pets. So far, so clear, I guess. And she ends up being taken to a human shelter because she appears to be a stray. And normally when you get sent to a human shelter, if nobody claims you, you end up... but before that, she does meet a cat. I'm sorry, I'm getting it all kind of mixed up. I'm not here to actually tell the story. I'm just kind of here to give my thoughts on it. And just to be clear, these are my personal thoughts. So if you've read this and you loved it, that's great. I don't know. But essentially, at some point, she finds herself in a human shelter. The cat she first meets, he ends up actually coming to claim her and makes her his pet, which he's not very happy about, which, valid. I'm not sure how I would feel either. And this is her new master. His name is... You're not going to believe what his fucking name is. Julius Caesar. I'm not even fucking kidding. It's fine. I'm sure he's not the first cat that's ever been called Julius Caesar. Anyway, he's... I don't know... 16 to 18 years old is my assumption, because she's around 16 herself, and they do appear to be about the same age, so fine, whatever. Anyway, he is from a prestigious family, and it's not really clear at first why he wants this human as his pet, because, well, she kind of bites him and acts all crazy, which, to be fair, again, I would too. Like, if I was isekai'd into a world with humanoid cats and they're like, all right, you're my pet now, but what? You know? Anyway, for an 80 chapter manhwa, a lot happens. Like, there is a lot going on in this story. I'm not even going to be able to convey it well to you. But just know it's a lot. And I think the problem I'm having with this story is there's a layer to it that makes complete sense, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. And let me explain, and it involves him. So this is Milky. Milky is Honora's childhood cat. She saved this cat when she was a little girl from being attacked by dogs, I believe it was, or something. Anyway, he was badly injured. She rescued him. All well and good, right? Very cute, very wholesome. She takes care of Milky for a few years, and then he suddenly vanishes. And she doesn't know why. And I mean, that happens, right? If you've ever had a pet cat and they go in and out, sometimes they do sadly vanish. I've had that happen. Anyway, it turns out that Milky is Caesar. So essentially, basically what happened was Caesar was about to lose his life when his family, his mother, himself, and his adopted brother, who we'll get to in a minute, were attacked by humans, because there's a faction in this world of humans that are basically, they're kind of like a revolutionary army or whatever against being kept as pets, etc., etc. Anyway, they attacked him, his mother, and so in this world, because cats have 9 lives, cats can give a life to save another life. I hope that makes sense. And so his mother gives her life to save him. But to do so, he is transported to a different world, which is how he ends up as Milky. And he ends up being found by Honora, I guess at first by chance. And I guess he remembers her when the opposite happens to her, and she ends up back in his world. And so that's why he wants to take care of her. And there is a romance between them, which I do find a little weird, to be honest with you. And I don't know... So they never do anything more than kiss. yeah, I don't know. I'm just really, that part of it, I was just like, I don't know. I really don't know. This is what I mean. Like, I can't verbalize how I feel about that dynamic, that he was her childhood cat, like a full cat. And then he became her lover when he's in his true form in a different world. Like, I'm not fully against it, you know what I mean? But it also doesn't quite sit right with me. And I don't know why. I can't verbalize it. So yeah, the jury's out on that one. But also this story, like I said, has a lot of layers. Because this character here is also pretty prominent. This is the little brother we were talking about. So he is a hybrid. So he is a cat person, but one parent of his was a full cat person. His other parent was a human. And normally hybrids like that don't live long. And he's very sick, and he's been very sick his whole life. But he's very sweet and very lovely. And there's actually a little love story for him too, which is between him and his childhood friend, who is this guy. And he's known as a king seeker. Now, this concept isn't really explained deeply, and I think this is one of those elements of the story that, to me, felt kind of rushed and probably could have been given more attention, perhaps if the story was just a little bit longer, because 80 chapters really isn't very long at all, in my opinion. And I do like his character. You kind of start off not liking the King Seekers, because they kind of bully Honora. Like, everyone kind of meets in a weird way. But he actually turns out to be a really good ally in the end, and he deeply, deeply loves Julius's brother, whose name I fucking forgot, and I feel terrible about that. I forgot his name too. That's why I'm just sort of saying the King Seeker dude. And he understands that he's very sick, and he just wants to spend all his time with him, and it's very cute. It's very wholesome. And I did actually like this element of the story a lot. So yeah, there's that. And then we've got this motherfucker too. Now, his name I do remember. This is Rowie. And so Rowie is introduced to us initially as the doctor. So he's the family doctor for Julius's family. But he's also secretly a knight. And he was also kind of in love with Julius's mother. There's a lot of layers to this guy. And he also ends up taking one of Honora's... she makes a human friend. He takes her as his pet. But yeah, the dynamic between them is weird and a little creepy. And he kind of comes across as a villain, but in the end of the story, it's like he's not a villain. It's very strange. His character's very interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about him either, to be honest with you. But this is her. And she's probably about the same age as Honora, I would say 16 to 18, maybe a little older than that, maybe around 20. And she works as a maid in a cafe. And that's how they meet. Yeah, but she ends up being Rowie's pet/lover. And then we have this guy who is the Archduke, and he's just all kinds of trouble. He did some fucked up stuff too. He has a pet called Maggie, who is this person here. They're actually male, but they're very androgynous looking. And we love Maggie. Maggie is also, I think their real name is Chance or Chase. But Maggie's mother was also the Duke's pet. And yeah, anyway, that's a whole fucking side story on its own. Beautiful, right? And Maggie/Chance and Honora end up having, like, not a relationship, but they get to know each other. Actually, Maggie's the first person she meets. Right here. That's actually Maggie. But the ending as well was actually kind of disappointing. So it was 80 chapters. A lot of the side stories were rushed. The main focus of the story was a little bizarre, but it did make sense. And then in the end, Honora gets hurt, and she's about to die. And so to save her life, Julius gives one of his lives, and she ends up back in her own world. And that's basically it. And then he's kind of waiting in his world for her to come back, but she doesn't. You know, so that was kind of like, I was like, is that the conclusion? Very, very strange. So yeah. So that is A World Ruled by Cats. Those are my jumbled thoughts. I don't hate it, but I can't say I absolutely loved it. I'm just truly not sure how to feel. This was very polarizing for me. If you've read this, let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching.